Hey, so in this video I will be talking about the Oneplus Nord, specifically its camera and what it has to offer in this price range. And you know what? It's good to see OnePlus finally making mid-range devices. I'm not talking about the flagship gear stuff, because OnePlus now makes their own flagships, and why would you want to cannibalize your own sales? This is more to talk about the approach they have gone with the OnePlus Nord's camera. And just to be clear, I am not a tech reviewer. I don't consider myself to be a tech reviewer. I think it requires a lot of knowledge, time, and effort to make a really good review on a product. And that's why this is not a review of the OnePlus Nord. I'm just talking about the camera from a perspective of a photographer. So, with that cleared out, let's get started. Now, this video will be divided in three main parts. First, I will be talking about the hardware, what the camera setup is like, what lenses they are using, and what is the purpose of each of these lenses. Then I will be talking about the color reproduction and the dynamic range that this camera offers. Third, I will be talking about the competition, because I feel like when you're talking about any product, it's really important to talk about the competition to get a better perspective of how good it actually is. So let's get started. So the camera module consists of four main sensors. There is a 48 megapixel sensor, that's their main sensor. It's optically image stabilized. Then there's an 8 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Then there's a 5 megapixel depth sensor and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now on paper this looks really good, and I think that's what OnePlus was going for. So I'll be talking about each one of these. Let's start with the 48 megapixel main camera. This camera is good. They call it a flagship level camera, and that's because it is literally taken out of the OnePlus 8. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I tried it in different scenarios and the details are really good. It gets the job done, and I think that's one of the main important things, especially in the main camera. The ultra wide option is good. It's not great, and I think you can see the difference, especially after clicking a photo using the main and then switching over to ultra wide. You will notice two main things. The colors look off and the details are missing, and I think this pattern of inconsistency is very common in the whole package. The 2 megapixel macro camera, which serves a very important purpose: marketing. I just don't get it. What is the macro for? Who is asking for a macro? It's such a niche thing to ask for, and if it's there, then why does it suck so much? At least make it good. At least make it usable. It's not usable. It's a garbage camera. It's a camera that looks like it looks like it's from 2010. It's just not usable in any sort of way, because first of all, it's a macro. That itself is a very niche thing. Second of all, as a macro camera, it fails. It has too much grain. The color reproduction is trash. The details are not there. Like, everything you need for a macro shot, it cannot deliver on that. I just don't know what they were going for. It's clearly there just to make OnePlus Nord have a 4 camera setup. That's the only purpose it solves. So this was the breakdown of the hardware. Now let's move on to the main thing: color reproduction and dynamic range. The two most important things I look when I take photos using my smartphone. Alright, let's start with the color reproduction. OnePlus does a really good job at processing and color reproduction. It's processed, but it's not over processed, which I see a lot in these Xiaomi devices and other Chinese brands. They are over processed, over sharpened. They just don't give a nice look. OnePlus does not do that. I think that's a really good thing. Their colors are not too vibrant or too flat. They're just right. and if you're using it for casual usage, it will work just perfect. Although the point regarding inconsistency is again there, I just simply don't get it. This is sounds such a cheesy thing to say, but the most consistent thing about this camera module is the inconsistencies. Not only from switching from one camera module to the second, it's drastic. Like seriously, from ultra wide to macro to primary, it looks like it's coming from a different phone. The colors are way off, the details are sometimes present, sometimes not. And even just if you're taking the shot from the same sensor in the same condition, then also sometimes it just looks different. I don't know why, but all of this is solved if you're using the Pro mode, and I think OnePlus has done a great job when it comes to Pro mode. It has a histogram, you don't see that every day. It has really good dial options like you see in DSLRs, especially for the shutter speed. It has ISO options. You can set your white balance, and instead of having like those weird presets for white balance, it actually gives you real options, numbers that you can actually move, which is great. It also gives you two profiles you can choose from, which I think is convenient, and it's pretty clear that OnePlus actually gave some thought. The phone also shoots both JPEG and RAW, and you know what, I'll talk about the RAW part because I really want to. So let's start with the dynamic range. I edit all my photographs, like all of them, whether it goes on my story or on my feed or it's just a casual thing. It needs to be processed, it needs to be edited, and I always do that. But it does not end there. Go to Pro mode and switch to RAW DNG. Okay, obviously as you can see from these images that I'm showing, that the DNG format definitely works really well in the OnePlus Nord's favor. And I think I really want people to try the DNG format out. Like just take a picture using the normal mode and then just try it. Like I was editing these images and you can see the difference clearly from the normal shot and the DNG shot. And I think if you want to unlock the complete potential of the OnePlus Nord's true camera power, then you need to shoot DNG. Like it goes from here to here really fast. That's pretty cool. So when I was like looking at these photographs, it's clear to see that corners have been cut. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of grain, but that was somewhat expected. But it's still disappointing to see how much inconsistency there is especially when you're shifting from one camera module to the second. I also want to talk a little bit about the nightscape and how it is a hit or miss. Like sometimes it works really well and I was like, okay, this works good. But sometimes it just simply does not work. So finally, let's talk about the competition. The OnePlus Nord faces competition from two main devices, the Pixel 4a and iPhone SE. The Pixel 4a is still not available in India, but I'll still include it because I think it fits in the same price range and hopefully it will be released in that same price bracket of 25 to 30,000. iPhone SE in India is expensive. It's around 40,000. I think it's more than 40,000. It's 40,000 to 43,000, around that price bracket. So it's more expensive. So I think the OnePlus Nord is in a very interesting price bracket. It fits perfectly in the middle of the iPhone SE and the Pixel 4a, where the Pixel 4a is more camera focused and tries to be this minimalistic phone, and the iPhone SE on the other hand has great internals and provides great video. The OnePlus Nord is just in between, both price wise as well as what it provides, the feature it provides. It's great to see OnePlus doing this, and I think the camera package can be summarized using the same words people used to summarize the OnePlus Nord as a whole package. It's decent and it gets the job done, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I think sometimes just doing the job, just being decent, just being overall a good package is fair. It's good. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this was a little weird, and if you like this video, be sure to like the video. And if you want to see more samples from the Oneplus Nord, check out my Instagram. The link is in the description. Yes, a shameless plug. But hey, thanks for watching this video. See you guys in the next one.